Chet, these games are just coming down to a handful of possessions. What's it like battling out there and knowing how much better you guys can be? Mark was talking about it, kind of another gear that he knows that this group can get to.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything you can want out of a basketball game. It's extremely competitive. Both teams really want it, and um, obviously we want to come out on the winning end of things. But um, if you take the result out of it, it's everything that you want to be going through in a basketball game. Fighting and going out there and having each other's back.
They have been switching a ton defensively, it seems. What are some keys for you all, since you've seen that over the course of the year, of attacking that, getting the advantages that you want in those situations?
Just doing what we've seen over the course of the year, and um, I'm not going to get into X's and O's and everything, but I mean, they watch film. They have good coaches. They know what we're trying to do out of those situations. It's our job just to execute them right and do what we've been doing all year and make plays out of that. So that's what we got to do.
With that, I know each game maybe calls for a different shot selection from you, but in this series so far, like, what have you seen Dallas do to maybe take away some of your shots, especially from the outside?
I mean, they're switching. When you switch, there's no real pop first shot advantage. So that's one of the ways. And then, I feel like I've gotten some good catch and shoot looks. I've made some of them, missed some of them. I just got to continue to be ready to hunt those and, knock those shots down.
You guys have been better at rebounding since the All-Star break. There was a point in the third today where I think they had 14 boards and you guys had one. Just what did you see maybe up to the third, or just generally in today's game that maybe led to that?
I mean, there's a lot that I'm focusing on, and I can't see the whole floor from where my point of view is, so I can't break down exactly why they got each rebound. But when there's a 14-1 advantage, that means that they're crashing more, they're crashing harder, and they're getting the ball in those situations. So we just have to turn that around, figure out how to turn it around, because in a game that's as close as it was today, those second opportunities are extremely important for us to limit and also to get for ourselves.
Points in the paint abnormally low for you guys tonight. What was it that the Mavs did specifically, and then like when shots aren't falling like the way you guys want to from the outside, and points in the paint are low, how do you kind of like mitigate one or the other?
I mean, again, I'm not going to get too much into X's and O's. I'm just say, they're not going to let us just shoot layups all game. So, credit to them. They're a good defense with a good game plan, and we have to figure out how to counter that to the best of our abilities, and I feel like that'll leave us in a good spot.
What went wrong for you guys during that 16-0 run they had in the third?
The timestamps on that?
It was like 8.5 minutes to 4.5 minutes, I think.
I'm gonna have to watch the film and get back to you on that. I don't know exactly what was happening, but it's a game of swings, and that's one of their swings that they got going, and both teams are throwing punches back and forth, so we got to be able to take those punches and then throw some of our own, which I feel like we did a good job tonight, and we've done throughout the series. In the last two games, we just haven't been able to, be leading when the time runs out. So.
You mentioned earlier this is everything you want in a basketball game. Do you even have more of an appreciation of this time of year, these kind of games, because you missed a whole year and all that with your injury?
Yeah, I feel like I've always had a great perspective towards, my health and my ability, and I never really took it for granted. I always woke up and hooped and worked out and everything. Like that day could be my last day. It sounds cliche, but that day could be my last day doing it. And then when I got hurt, it kind of just built that appreciation, and now I try to have that every single day, no matter what's happening, whether I'm tired or this hurts or that hurts or I'm sick or, whatever happens, just wake up and be appreciative of the opportunity and the ability to go out there and play. And, I feel like, until I'm no longer able to play. That's how I'll look at it.
Go back to that block in the second quarter where you jump up and kind of land hard. I mean, you're on the ground. What were you hurt there? Was there any fear in your mind just jumping up for that? Over, I don't know, there was 3 people you jumped over, I think.
Yeah. No, I never. Like, I don't want to be like a crash dummy out there, but I also don't want to be hesitant out there. So, you know, my instinct is just go make a play. You know, if you're out there worrying about getting hurt on this play or that play, one, that's how injuries happen a lot of times, and then two, you're not, you know, putting everything on the line for your teammates, which I feel like I always owe to them. So I'm just trying to go make a play, and you know, if something happens outside of that, it's kind of out of my control at that point.
You're just catching your breath on the ground there, though.
Yeah, I was just getting a couple extra breaths in before play started again.
Mark was saying that there's another gear he feels you guys can reach. What do you think has kept you guys from reaching that gear?
I mean, there's no one magical answer that I could give you. You know, it's an extremely complex game of, you know, X's and O's, and so much comes down to makes and misses too. You know, you miss good looks, you make bad shots. You know, there's so much that affects how we look at the outcomes. You know, but we're gonna do everything in our ability to give ourselves the best chance to win basketball games, and you know, I feel like that's what he's referring to when he says that. So, you know, we're gonna get in practice in the film room tomorrow, and you know, do everything we can to be the best version of ourselves for game 4.
How much does experience play into that? Just in games like this, you have Kyrie who's won championships. Luka's been in a bunch of playoff series. You guys are obviously pretty young.
I'd say, I think how to answer that one. I mean, obviously, we would all like to have the experience of winning championships under our belt, and being through certain things and seeing certain things numerous times. But we're a young team, and we haven't, and we're not going to look at that as a reason that we can't go out and do what we need to do. You know, we're going to go figure it out, and we're going to do whatever it takes to do that.
You mentioned shot making. I just wonder, I know you guys have talked all year about just understanding the variance of the game, just how much it's a make shot, miss shot league, but like at this stage when the possessions weigh as much as they do, like does your perspective change at all just on that front, just how fickle the shot making part of it is?
No, because it comes down to building that trust, which we've done all year. And we just have to continue to stick by that. If we run a play to shoot a game-winning shot and we get a great look and we miss it, we have to live with that. You know, that's just what the league is. You know, you might run a play and it doesn't work, and you get the ball in and make a Hail Mary, and you know, you're all happy because you won the game. Like, it's just, you know, you just have to look at the process over the result of things. And you know, we lost the game tonight. We're not going to change our whole philosophy on trying to be the best version of ourselves because of that. You know, we're going to stick to the process, and you know, trust that.
Chet, obviously you guys want to have a quick start to some of these games. It's been a little bit slow in games 2 and 3. Obviously, no team comes in and is like, let's have a slow start. But what goes into, like, using Mark's words of like throwing that first punch?
Again, a lot of factors. You know, the biggest one I say is we got to come out with as much energy as we possibly can. You know, a lot of times, you know, variance kind of favors the aggressor, so we got to come out being the aggressors and, you know, come out ready to make plays and throw punches, and, you know, the Mavs are going to do the same thing. So, you know, I feel like that's what we got to do.
Thank you, Chet. Yeah, we go one more. We can go one more.
Yeah, right here.
Yep.
Mark talks about like emotional gaps. Like, how have you guys handled that emotional gap that existed between 2 and 3, and then like the locker room even after today's game?
Feel like it's a combination of things again. You know, we have very mature people in our locker room. very steady. And again, we're all kind of bought into this whole process thing, understanding that it's ups and downs, flows to everything. So, we're not going to change what we've been doing all year, trusting each other, trusting the process, trusting the coaches. We're going to continue to do that to the best of our abilities. And to this point in the season, it's left us in a good spot. So I don't think that'll change.
Mark was saying that he feels like you guys have another gear that you can get to that just hasn't quite been there the last couple of games. What do you think that looks like? What are some of the areas where you're just kind of not quite hitting that level right now?
I think we can be sharper on both ends of the floor. Like in terms of like 50-50 balls, communication. And I think we're trying to do the right thing. I just think like execution and focus. I think those two areas is where we can really take a step.
They're switching a ton. It's not like something you guys haven't seen before, but what are some of those maybe execution points on the switches that you feel like you guys can maybe take more advantage of?
There's I don't want to give too many answers, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could definitely attack the switching better for sure. Absolutely.
Wonder what, the way the game was trending late in the third quarter with Doug having to go to the locker room, did you sense a different level of responsibility to take on some of that late scoring?
Not any more than usual, to be honest. No matter what's going on, I just try to be aggressive, try to make the right play for myself and my teammates.
This is maybe a niche question, but does it feel like you've had to use more dribbles for some of your looks in this series, maybe than most of the regular season?
No, it doesn't feel like that.
Jada, you had to go to the locker room for, looked like your ankle. How are you feeling after the game?
I went to the locker room.
Oh, how you feeling?
I'm fine. That's it.
For both of you, points in the paint was abnormally low, and then shots weren't as falling from the outside like you normally want them to. How do you kind of offset one or the other when a team's trying to take away your first punch, which is trying to get to the paint?
I think be decisive and be smarter with our attacks. Obviously, they have good rim protection and size on the wings and with their bigs. So just being aggressive but being smart.
Think of the pull-up that you took. You guys are down 3 with about a minute left. What do you think of that look?
Felt good. That's one of my go-to shots. So felt good.
You mentioned execution, Shai, tonight and today and the other night. What are just some things that you feel like you guys can do to execute a little bit better? Because it's the second game that you mentioned this.
A lot of it comes down to focus. Execution is just knowing what you have to do and then doing it. So it's just focusing in the moment, no matter what's going on, no matter what the swing of the game is. Just focusing on the possession and trying to do what is required in that possession.
They went on a 16-0 run there in the middle of the third. Did you sort of feel momentum shift at that point?
Absolutely. You 16-0, you're gonna feel, especially on the road, you're gonna feel a shift in energy. But we've been there before. I think they went on a 30-something run early in the season here. It's just about focusing on the next position. And obviously that run hurt us tonight. And there's ways we can get better, and we'll try to learn from it next game.
Doug, the defense was significantly better from you all in this game. What were some strides that you felt that you guys took as a group from game 2 to game 3?
Physicality, kind of understanding how the game was being officiated, and probably a little better execution of our game plan. I think just kind of understanding how the game is getting called in the playoffs is a pretty good indicator of how to kind of adjust what we're doing. I thought we made that adjustment early.
Question for either of you: how long does it sort of take to sort of adjust or get a feel for what the physicality is going to be on a given night?
Not long at all. like I try not to personally. I try not to like focus on what it's gonna be tonight. I try to just play basketball and be strong with the ball, no matter what or who's reffing. Doesn't differentiate or change anything about my game. And I can't control any of that stuff, so why worry about it? That's how I think about it, for sure.
Obviously, there's no substitute for experience, and you have to just have experience to have experience, right? But do you have anything you draw on, any games you watch, any players, bets, or when you go back and watch The Last Dance or something, right, for this time of year, to help you in this time with the playoffs and the intensity and the margin between winning and losing?
Yeah. For me personally, I try not to like overthink it. I think like this time of year, both teams wanted the same amount. Like both teams have gone through 82 games in a first round series in our case. And it's just about carrying out the little things, and the team that executes and runs to the corner harder and talks better on defense, usually that team pulls out in a series. So just trying to focus on those little things to get us over the hump or a game or whatever it is.
If you have any answer on that one?
Film just kind of ramps up for me. I think it just gets a little more technical on who you're playing because you're going to play them however many times. So for me, it's just probably watching a lot more film and a lot more like detailed film, like what's going on, offense and defense.
It felt like you were one of the best finishers through contact, just league wide through the course of the regular season. What are you seeing once you get to the rim so far in the series?
Probably a little bit more sprays. Thought I did a good job of kind of kicking it out when I drove. Thought we generated some good looks there, but they have two. Huh?
You did.
Oh, appreciate it. They got two good rim protectors on their team, so you kind of have to try and find a balance of when to attack and get angles to finish. But I think a lot of it too is trying to occupy and kind of reading, what they're given as far as that goes. So
Change the way you pick your spots so far.
it's just a read, kind of. I think I'm athletic enough to where if I'm in the air and I know I can, I still have, the option to kind of kick the ball out. So a lot of it is if I feel that, that they might block the shot, that's kind of hard to explain, but if I feel like they can kind of affect it at all, I kind of am able to kick it out. Or if I know I can't finish there, it's kind of just about occupying it and, make the next play for whoever may cut or stay in the corner.
Obviously, you have to prioritize Luka and Kyrie with your defensive game plan. PJ Washington's had a couple of big.
PJ Washington.
What do you think of the looks he's been able to get and what he's been able to do these last couple of games?
He's knocking down the shots that are available to him, so you just gotta tip your hat to it and adjust from there. But like you said, a lot of it too is you got two very high level players on their team as well, so. Yeah, he's knocking down the shots that he's getting, and we'll kind of adjust from there. But at the end of the day, somebody's got to make shots on the team, and you just got to tip your hat and next play.
You were shaking your head, PJ Washington. What do you think about that?
He's hooping. We got to turn that water off if we want to win the series for sure. Yeah.
This will be the last one for the guys.
It looked like you approached the crew after the challenge in the first quarter. Just what you see on that play and what you make of the ruling?
No comment. Nothing to say for that one. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Did you get a sense that Shai, you tried to take the reins of the offense with some of the shots you taking?
I give Shai a lot of freedom, have for a long time. I have a lot of trust in Shai to find the balance of his own aggression and involving other guys. That's never going to be perfect, but I thought he had it going there at different times. Trust him as much as I've ever trusted him.
Just what did you see during that 16-0 run that Dallas went on in the third quarter?
We got a little sloppy offensively with our execution. We turned it over a couple times. They got hot. They made shots and converted, so credit them. That was probably the missed opportunity of the game for us. We were up by 10 and had a pretty good grip on it, and just didn't stack quality enough possessions in that part of the game to either extend the lead or hold the lead. But a lot of things we can learn from. We have to keep getting better through the series. I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to get better. We're not playing quite to the level that I think we're capable of right now. which is disappointing in an individual game, but it's also an opportunity. You know, we have some capacity there.
To officiate in this league, but do you still feel as good as you did about the officiating before the game?
Yeah, we lost the game. The officials didn't lose the game today.
Mark, they are switching a lot defensively. Is that attacking those switches, which is something you've seen all year, one of those opportunities that you're talking about in terms of how you're able to kind of generate offensive flow against that?
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a lot of switching, obviously. I thought we had good attacks on a lot of plays. There's some that left something to be desired. We'll learn from them. But I think we're going to continue to see that. That tends to be the hand that they're showing right now. So we'll look at it and improve. Obviously, we have to be a little bit better on that end.
I don't know if you guys have gone to Hack a Shack much this year. Just the thought process on that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we like doing it when, you know, there's a you know, numbers advantage to doing it. I give Lively credit. He made those last 4. After he made 2 in a row, I wanted to, you know, try it again, see if he'd give us another one. He had missed a couple prior. But I was just playing some numbers there. I thought it also disrupted their flow. It allowed us to keep some offense on the floor for our offense. So there was advantages to doing it, I thought.
Rested Shai, I think it was 3 or 4 minutes left in the third. Was the plan to get him that rest and play him the whole fourth quarter?
Yeah, I just thought, you know, he had like eye drops going in or something, and then you know, he seemed a little bit gassed. So I decided to get him a rest there. It wasn't planned. But when you do that, you can extend him a little bit in the fourth.
And points in the paint for you guys is a little abnormally low. When teams are trying to take that away because that's you guys' bread and butter, and shots aren't falling at the high clip that you want them to, how can you try to mitigate one or the other?
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a good job. I mean, they keep Lively and Gafford down there, you know, at all costs. You know, that's kind of the way that they defend. And then they kind of shell up to the perimeter outside of that. And so I thought we got some quality looks. I think it's more about just, you know, stacking quality possessions and letting that win the day, you know, even with their defense and with how we shot it. I thought we missed some opportunities offensively tonight with some of the turnovers and then just opportunities to kind of make them work a little bit harder. So we'll learn from them and hopefully be a better team game 4.
Anybody else?
Mark, going back to that 16-0 run, it happened fast. It was within a 4-minute stretch.
Yep.
What is it like, especially coaching and playing on the road,
Yep.
to try to flip that momentum back?
Yeah, I mean, in these road environments, you know, you're going to have to like be able to play through some of those things. You don't have an endless amount of timeouts. I only had 1 down the stretch, you know, because I burned through them pretty quickly there. So we have to be a team that's able to like endure, you know, on the road. But we've done that all year. We've made a habit of that. So I have a lot of confidence in the guys to play through some of that. But you also try to break it up a little bit if you feel like it's not going to get turned on its own.
You just mentioned the turnovers. I just wonder, I don't think it's a gaudy number of turnovers, but the fashion of them, like what did you see in terms of, you know, what they look like characteristically?
Yeah, I thought there were some uncharacteristic ones, you know, and that's what I'm saying, you know, I didn't think we played our best game today. You know, we put game pressure on them. We were a couple possessions away from winning despite that. But we have opportunity to improve, you know, like this isn't the best we can play, which is disappointing in an individual game. I wish we would have won today, but it's also an opportunity because it means that we have another gear that I think we can go to, but we got to find that and we got to play to it.
PJ Washington, I mean, you talked about him pregame. You guys paying a lot of attention to Luka and Kyrie. Is it that he's finding those cracks after paying a lot of attention to those 2 guys, or is it just he's just having a hot 2 games?
A little bit, you know, like some of it's that, some of it's, you know, he hit a couple of them during that run where it's, you know, in transition and, you know, you're at the mercy of who gets the shot in those situations. They're playing through him a little bit, you know, they're trying to post it to him and do that. So it's a little bit of everything. He's playing really well right now, obviously.
You guys had a lot of late shot clock situations where there were some shots put up. Do you, I guess, attribute that more to the Mavs defense, or do you think you guys are trying to get the good for great shot?
It's always a combination of both, but we're never like waiting, you know, like to be clear. It's either their defense or our execution, and usually it's a combination of both.
Anybody else?
I know there are games where Chet doesn't really take a ton of shots, but this series specifically, like what have you seen Dallas do to maybe effectively take away some of his shots?
They're trying to switch him. You know, they're keeping guards on him. You know, I thought he got some cracks today. I thought he did a good job of getting it side to side for us today. He did a good job getting on the glass today. You know, I don't think anybody played their best game though. You know, again, I think he, like everybody else on the team, you know, we all have to understand we have another gear, and we got to access that here so that we throw our best punch in these games. So we're disappointed we lost, but again, I think we have an opportunity to be a better team in Game 4.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Last game, you, Shai, Dub all mentioned execution. What'd you think about the execution, even in the loss tonight?
Again, I think there's room for improvement there offensively, especially. But I thought the defensive execution was actually pretty good. I mean, to hold Doncic and Irving to the numbers we held them to on the shots that they shot is pretty good. We got pretty good nights there. So there's things to feel good about in all these games. I mean, we're not playing a close game on the road without playing well in some areas of the game. So now it's just a matter of winning the margins, thinking small. Just do the next best thing. The next best fundamental, we just got to get on that, and we'll play better.
You just said that, this isn't the best you guys have played. This isn't the best you guys can play, and that there's another gear you guys can tap into. What do you feel, from what you understand in this moment, has kept you from reaching that other gear?
I mean, the fact that, we're playing a quality opponent, that's trying to hold us down. We're trying to hold them down. That's the nature of these series. I said it's a heavyweight fight. You're going to have to be able to throw them. You're going to have to be able to take them. So as you get deeper into the playoffs, this is, what you deal with. And the ability to overcome this and rise to this is how you get better. It's how teams forge themselves over time. And so it's a great opportunity for us. Again, I said after game 2, there's no place we'd rather be than playing and competing in this setting and testing ourselves in this setting. And, we're getting tested, and we'll learn about ourselves, and we'll grow from it.
Chet's 3-point attempts have specifically been low in this series. Is that something that Mavs are just taking away from him, or is that more by design?
No, it's definitely not by design. We want him shooting threes. I think it's some of the cracks. That's where I think some of the offensive possessions where he can maybe get it on the back end of a possession where we get kind of the blender started. But they're doing a good job of keeping us out of those situations. So we got to execute a little better, work a little harder on some plays, and hope that he gets some cracks there. But they get smalls on him. They're switching him, and that's specifically to try to take out his shooting.
Coach Dub returned. Is he 100%? You feel good moving forward?
He was good enough to go back in, so I'm assuming so. I mean, he'll get treatment tomorrow. We'll take a look. But
With the challenges, is there any hesitation maybe to use those early or late now after what's happened so far the last couple games?
no, it's all cost benefit. It's another close play. It's 3-shot foul. Again, I don't think there might have been an out of bounds late that I could have gotten if I had a challenge, but it wouldn't have had the impact of a 3-shot foul for a good free throw shooter. So we're going to stay aggressive.
What did you make of the call in tonight's challenge?
I'm sorry?
What did you make of the call in tonight's challenge? Just that play generally?
Like the decision they made? I mean, they're looking at it, from every angle. So once they look at it, I trust it. We look at it as best we can. We trust the players. We trust the video. Trust our instincts. But you're playing a probability on those things. But, when the probability is good enough and the impact's high, that's when you go get it, and that's why I did it.
It was part of the confidence in that, just how adamant Lou was and wanting to challenge that.
All the information matters, but ultimately my decision, if it's an unsuccessful challenge, I own that.